Thank you very much. You too.
Yeah, thank you. How are you doing? It's good to have you here.
Very well, thank
Yeah.
you.
And thanks to everyone that has joined. I'm glad to have you all here tonight. And I know what it takes to get late on here today. It's been a roller coaster. He's a very busy person, but I'm so happy that you are here tonight. And because what we are actually discussing is a very technical one. Um, I I'm not the one that always want to talk about, marriages and all of that. In fact, there was a time that I was thinking I could be a marriage counselor, but along the line I was like, these things work. Oh. It's a whole lot of work, and it's a calling itself, and I know that it's not the easiest thing, but I really commend you all that into that line. That you all are doing a very great job, and I pray that God will continue to help you in
Amen.
Jesus' name. Yeah. So quick one. Lekon Agunbiade, he just gave me two lines of bio because I know he doesn't want me to say so much, but no problem. He's a first of all, Lekon is a friend, and is a nurse specialist, is a doctoral researcher, is an author, is a life and relationship coach, and he's a Sunday school teacher. Like when I saw that, I said, okay, I must say it. For you to include it, then this is a big deal to you. So, Lekon, you're welcome once again. And like I mentioned earlier, I am so happy to have you here. And we're discussing about marriages. And I'm glad that the first time I actually, approached you about this, you told me that we can discuss as many times as possible, and we can actually discuss different things. And why do I do this? Why do we do this? It's simple. It's for knowledge. I always say that there is really nothing in the knowledge that you know that you're unable to share.
Yeah.
There's nothing in it, and people can get to learn something through different mediums, and I believe that no knowledge is a waste. So this is why I do this, mindful moments. We just talk about different things. And this is the first time I'm actually talking about marriage, and I'm so happy that, I'm starting it with principles for intentional marriages. And we have to say intentional because I know that, everything we do, it has to be intentional. So I'll just hand it over to you. What you have to say, what does intentional marriage means to you, as a coach, as a person? So you have the floor, Nico. Thank you.
Thank you very, very much, Bosede. I am very grateful for this privilege, this platform, and
Yeah.
I don't consider myself as deserving of this seat, so I must thank you. I am very grateful, and I also like to say that I'm sorry for the technical issues at the background
Yeah, it's
before
fine.
we start, and I'm sorry that it took this long for me to be here. It is well with me and my itinerary. But the Lord be glorified for everything. And I
Amen.
must commend your work as well in the mindful moments. And see, because life is swift and we all keep going like that. And it's just important to come back in this deliberate mindfulness, to talk about where am I, where can I be, where should I be. So you're doing a great work, Bosede.
Thank
Thank you
you.
very much for what you're doing. The Lord bless you and bless
Thank
your
you.
home in Jesus' name.
Amen. Amen.
And
Amen.
just to also talk about my bio is as simple as looking at the as simple as that. What does intentional marriage mean? I think to dive deep into that, I'll be picking the words apart:
Okay.
intentionality and marriage. So intentionality is talking about you're deliberate, you're committed, it's not a facade. It's not ad hoc. It's not an afterthought. You know, there is a deliberate commitment to do something, to pursue a goal. So you are intentional. Like you wake up in the morning, you know tomorrow is Sunday. I have to be in church this time. So if you have to set alarm, you set alarm. Sometimes I do double or triple alarms just to be sure that if I sleep late, I don't miss the first alarm, and I won't miss the second one. You know, so you are intentional. You are prepared. You know, the marriage is union. I think we need to go to common sense principle, as the U.S. Law puts it on January 20th this year. Marriage, in the context of this discussion that we'll be doing tonight, is between a man and a woman. Yeah, a lot of other definitions have come about since Genesis chapter 1. And like Jesus said later on in New Testament, in the beginning it was not so. So today we're going to what it was at the beginning, man and woman. So talking about intentional marriage, then we're looking at two people who have chosen to do life together and who have chosen to give it everything it shall take to work it out between themselves. Not accidental, not afterthought, deliberate. So intentional marriage is making your home, making your union to work out. Now, marriage, should we talk about that now? Maybe. Marriage is not merger. You know, when Intercontinental Bank merged with Bank PHB, they form a bank. I don't know which bank merged with which bank. Anyway, I'm just using example, forgive me. So when two banks merged, they form a single bank, right? Now, the assimilation that takes place in the merging goes so much into their fabrics, into the name they bear now, into the staffing, the staff they have now, the leadership they have now. You know, everything assimilated. Now, marriage then is that kind of union when two people assimilate into each other to make a single entity under God. And they are both committed to put everything God has endowed them with to make that single entity work out.
Wow. That means, you know, from what you said, you know, two people that have chosen to do life together. So it's a matter of you chose me, I chose you. We are in this thing together, you know. So and I believe that that's the foundation of everything. Like, I chose you, you chose me. We are choosing to do this life together. And you know, when I was actually when you know when I thought about talking about it, there was a friend of mine, right? She told me, I think I was planning for my wedding anniversary one time, you know, I think that day. So she now told me, she said, oh, that most of our friends, our older friends, that a lot of us, we just plan wedding anniversary. I'm 10 years, I'm 12 years. That the people that, I mean, the people that are following them, or probably that are not married yet, you know, that we don't tell them things. Like, that a lot of them that they just go into the marriage like, okay. So, and I felt her word. She said that she has not, like me, for example, that she has not really seen me or share so much, or these are the lessons. I said, I just believe that there are people that to do this. I really do not believe that, oh, I should just go. I'm not a marriage counselor, you know. That's what I told her that time. I should just go there. Oh, these are the principles. These are the things. And when I was, you know, trying to say this is what we'll talk about, I remember what she said. I said, okay, this is also an avenue, you know, to discuss about this thing. And I always say one thing, like, you know, bad people that are having it so bad, the noise is so loud. So now people tend to just want to believe overall, I don't think this thing is working, you know. And sometimes I'll be like, God, but we still have some that are working. So for you, when you hear that, oh, a love that lasts or marriage that lasts, what I know that it is intentionality, right? But what actually comes to your mind in that direction?
Thank you very much. Thank you very much,
Yeah.
Pastor. I have three screens in front of me, and I was
Yeah.
just trying to see if I could join on the laptop. I don't want to go into that technical issue anymore. Now, I lost a point that I was supposed to have mentioned at the intentionality aspect. Is
Okay,
that
okay.
it's not forced, it's not
Mm.
coerced. I am not there because my pastor said this is the way to go.
Wow.
I am not there because my parents want me to marry this person.
Mm.
It is not forced. Yeah, I should be guided. I should be mentored. But I am not taking the step of marriage to this person because my daddy in the Lord, mommy in the Lord, mama, papa, or biological parents, or uncles, or mentors want me to go there. No. I am there because by the Lord's leading over my life, I am sure this is the way to go. I think it's important we embed this aspect into our use of intentionality in marriage, because for many people, when I interact with them, I just know,
Yeah.
and I'm going to the question you have asked now, I just
Yeah.
know that foundation is a problem. Foundation is a problem. So a pastor professor a few years back, somebody brought, one of his mentees brought the lady that he was going to marry and said, the Lord has asked that I marry this person. And Prof asked, and what do you say?
Mm.
Because that God has asked me to marry this person is actually also not enough. I hope our Christian brethren will not beat me up for that. It's also not enough, because you also have to submit into the will of God. So until you have accepted God's will, all
Yeah.
right, as your will, you're not going to be able to work it out as it is. Like you're going to be holding God accountable. No, it's you that, I have to work out my role as a husband in my home under God. So it is not enough that God has asked me to marry my darling wife, Titilayo. I also have to submit into that alignment. So foundation is important. So when I hear marriage that lasts, I am
Yeah.
thinking two people who have sound foundation, two people who have been prepared for what marriage is. And that is where your role comes in as a marriage counselor, Bosede. That is where the role of everyone whose marriage is working to the glory of God, their role comes in. There's a saying many years back, while we were much younger than this, they say a woman gives birth to a child, but it takes the whole community to raise that child. So
Yeah.
we were not parented solely by our parents. The community parented us. I dare not do some things when I was maybe age 5, age 7, age 10. It would just be any woman in the community who will call me up and do the normal, they will do justice to it.
Exactly.
They'll do justice.
Yeah.
So everyone who God has blessed with a good home, we have not been endowed so that we can just sit on the blessing internally by ourselves.
Mm.
We've been
True.
blessed to bless others. We've
Okay.
been endowed to raise up others. You who have been raised, who have been engraced, who have been rescued, run out deliberately for the rescue of others.
Okay.
So in this kind of way, we let the people whose marriages are not working, we let them take the center stage. We let them
Mm-hmm.
dissipate the negative energy, such that our young folks, our mentees, are then beginning to think that this thing doesn't work
Not
actually.
working. True. True.
But it's
True.
working.
True.
It's
True.
working. Marriage works. All right?
It does.
Now, that marriage work does not mean that we're not going to have issues. that we're not going to disagree. Of course we will. But that's part of it anyway, you know, but it works. So when I think of marriage that works, I think of foundation, two people with good foundation, two people who have been well raised, two people who are committed to growth. I think of two people who know each of them know him or herself, identity, their identity in God. All right? Because if you don't know who you are, you become a liability, you become a burden to the person you are getting bonded to. Right? When I think of marriage that works, like I spoke earlier about preparation, I also think about forgiveness. Two people who are able to forgive. And you know what Jesus said about how many times in a day? 490. Like 490 times. So we keep forgiving. I don't think you will marry somebody who will offend you 490 times in a day. So we keep forgiving. We keep forgiving. When Jesus was saying that, perhaps he was talking about you are going to be in some situations, some relationships will not work out straightforward. So you just have to cultivate the habit of continual forgiveness. And sometimes you pay the forgiveness forward, actually. You forgive before the offense happens. You forgive in advance. You just know that there is nothing this person will do that I will not be able to forgive. You know, when I think of marriage that lasts, I think of God. Why? God is love. And God is the only being or the only entity, deity that lasts throughout eternity. Before time began, currently, and in our eternity as well. So when I think of lasting marriage, I think of lasting love. God is the lasting deity, and God is love. So bringing this into application, I think of two people who know themselves in God, who are rooted in God, who have found their foundation in God, who are submitted to God. Because love will not always carry you through, but God will always.
Love will not always carry you through. I think that's why they say that a lot of time, love is not always enough. Right.
It's not enough.
And and you mentioned something there, you know, like when you hear love that lasts, it's two people that really have a solid foundation. So it actually means that two people, probably before even coming together, they decided to work on themselves, like work on themselves individually, not even in the context of marriage. And like you said, I feel like these are what is causing a lot of issues at the moment. But let's move on. So all these things that we have said.
Just before we move on, if you don't mind.
Okay. No, it's fine.
The preparation aspect.
Yeah.
Before they met is the most important time to prepare.
Exactly.
You see, we have two boys, 10 and 8. the drilling that goes on, right? I don't drill them for the age of 10 and 8. I drill them with the lesson that I get from counseling people in marriages. When we were much younger, there were a lot of campus fellowships on sisters. Sisters weekend, sisters retreat. And the sisters are now married to brothers who have not been well raised. We focus so much on, our friends, nieces, and cousins, girls are prepared for motherhood, for wifehood, almost from breastfeeding days, if I say that. From the early days, the woman is raised to be a good wife, to be a good mother. We let the boys play out their days. We begin to tell the girls how to be chaste, how to be prepared for their husband, but we become laissez-faire with the boys. So we come to a state that we now have daughters of Zion being yoked to brothers from, where shall you call it now? From wherever they come from, Babylon. So it is now time to begin to prepare boys, you know, like drill into the mind of boys. You have to be a good man. You have to be a good husband. You have to be a good husband. You have to be a good father. You have to be a good leader under God. You are not to be seeking submission. You have to also submit. You have to be a team player. All right. So this deliberate preparedness must start from parents. Must start from parents. And unfortunately, we're in a generation where some parents are actually also, they are screwed. I'm sorry. Some parents are also, you know, you can't give what you don't have. So it's important that we emphasize on the preparedness. Preparation when during marriage is not going to work. The man is already ready. The lady is done before getting married. So preparation must start from early life, early days. Thank you.
Wow. That was awesome. And sincerely, that was really spot on, because you didn't like, especially, you know, millennials like us, we know how much is it. You know, to the list of you sweeping, your mother will remind you that you have to sweep very well, because that is not how you're going to sweep in your husband's house, you know.
Yeah.
And really, it's a thing. And I feel like it started from there, you know, neglecting, not all parents, but then, you know, some, just like you said, there were some that they were not informed. You know, the culture that was passed across to them, that was what was also passed across. And I think this is why we're having this conversation. All of us now, I have people on the call now, myself inclusive, that now have boy children, you know, and we're saying that this is the time. It's not a time to say, oh, this particular thing is for a girl. This particular work, this particular washing of this thing is for a girl. This is the foundation. Thank you so much for bringing that. I mean, that was so spot on. Thank you so much. So yeah, all these things that we have said, and like I mentioned, I know that there are still some principles that even if some things are really not working well, like 100%, that there are still some people that, even though they might have marriages that are not 100%, but they still believe in their marriages, you know. And I know a lot of people that they still believe in marriages, because now there are now different levels. There are some people that, they don't like it or they don't want you. There are some people that have been there and they didn't have a good experience, and you know, things have to end. But then I still also know that there's some people that presently, you know, they are still in marriage, and they're like, okay, if there are still some things that can make it work, that can make it last, you know, I don't mind. And that's what will lead me to my next question. Like, okay, what are these principles? And it's also good for me to, you know, to chip this in that, is it Gen? I don't know if Gen Z, but you know, nowadays I now see people that say, oh, I am going to get married, and if it doesn't last, I will come out. In my mind, I was like, this is like you have not even started the marriage, but in your mind you're seeing it end. And I know that that is a very wrong mindset to have. But then I will leave you to that question again. What are those principles, you know, that you just feel like, wow, these are being the principle that have really, you know, stood the test of time and that has worked for a lot of people?
Thank you very much. Before I go to the principles, I just go to the for better, for glory.
Context.
You see, the for better, for glory came about maybe while we were teenagers or thereabout. All along, when we were much younger, early lads, it was always for better, for worse we know about. But then doctrinal changes to a point that people began to say, no, we're not going to be declaring illness in Jesus' name. It's not going to be. So it's not in health and illness, all right? It's only in health. And also, we're not going to be saying wars. How shall you declare wars in your own marriage? No wars. It's for better, for glory. So before you know it, we left Surulere, got to Olorun Shogo. In Olorun Shogo, when Ogo is not.
So we can hear you.
Marriage.
Okay. I think you're breaking. We can hear you. I can hear you. Okay. Oh.
Those people at the helm of affairs in doctrinal principles began to, in the midst of becoming motivational speakers, the hymn, my Lord suffer, why shall I repine? Like Christ suffered, there was wars in the ministry of Christ, for God's sake. So if we're Christians and we're looking like there's not going to be wars, it's deception from the beginning. So if we go into marriage without Olorun Shogo, without for better, for glory mentality, we're saying that there's an escape route. If wars comes, you are not prepared for war. You are not going in for the wars in case it happens. You check out. And so it becomes like the regular mundane global work, work. Like if it works, it works. If it doesn't work, we go our separate ways. All right. So this has now eaten deep to the generation we live in today. Right, I've had it for many people. Like if it works, if it doesn't work, this and that. When you go into marriage with that mentality, you leave the back door open. You go in reverse gear. It's reverse parking. I know you work our guys in the bank. We say don't do reverse parking. Like go headlong. But if you do reverse parking, you're only saying that at the next flick of light, if it doesn't tally with what I expect, I am out. And that is how we got to this situation, unfortunately. The going back to what it was in the beginning is still the best way. Marriage is for better, for worse, in health and illness, till death do us part. Now, when I say worse, I don't mean physical violence.
Yeah.
When I say worse, I don't mean a man assaulting or beating up his wife. I don't mean, that is not the worst I'm talking about. When I say worse, I don't mean a woman carrying another man's baby into the marriage. I don't mean a man being an infidel. I mean, for better, for worse, in the context of what it was at the beginning.
Yeah.
Now, let's go back to the principles. Thank you.
Yeah.
The principles. I'm going to speak, number one, respect. Respect. You see, I like to always go by first name. A lot of people have struggles with me not answering to Mr. Because respect is not in the titles and the appellations we use. Respect is not what we were told it was when we were growing up. When we're growing up, you call the sibling before you, sister or brother, That is the way we're taught about respect as, early lads. Respect is beyond that. So respect is the way I treat my wife. Attentive to details. Respect is if I tell her I'm going to be here at 11, I'm not here at 11:30, expecting to give her 1,000 excuses that she must take. Respect is if I'm not going to be there at 11, and I have reason, not by accident, I give her a ring. Hello, darling, I might be there a few minutes late. Yeah. All right? Respect goes so deep into us. I hope I might have to close the door there. Sorry.
Okay.
Or is there a background interference? If there's no interference,
just a little, but I think we can hear you clearly. Okay.
Yeah, please close it. Yeah.
I send you the link.
What's that? They were looking for link to join this week.
Oh.
Yeah. So Pardon my interruption. Forgive me, please.
No, that's
Now,
fine.
respect is in how I treat her. Respect is not appellation, it's not title. When a marriage lacks respect, there is no way it can work. When a marriage lacks respect, it can't work. Sorry. When a marriage lacks respect, it won't work. Now, the second thing is transparent communication. Transparent communication, you see, life is swift. I've been in situations before where what happened in the morning before we left the house is not what it is at noon. So I'm at work, this has come, I have just seen this email, and I just need to get a quick break. 5 minutes break, ring my wife, this is the email. I have forwarded it to you, please look into that. Because if I come back in the evening, maybe at 7 o'clock, we'll reconvene in the house, and I said this and this and this happened, and I made this and this and this and these decisions. She's an adult, she's a professional. Where is me being accountable to her? Where is me escalating that situation to her and getting her own input on that matter? Communication, transparent communication. Transparent communication is when I'm talking to people from my background family, I don't leave her in the dark. She knows what is going on there. There's no friend I have who have a room to hide in under my belt. There is transparency, right? In marriages where there is no transparent communication, that's not how far they can go. There's not how far they can go, because transparent communication also relates to respect. If you respect me, you won't leave me in the dark. If you respect me, you won't lie to me. If you respect me, you won't tell me half truth. Now, mutual submission. Nigerian pastors will kill me for this one, okay? So, mutual submission. African pastors start the sermon on Ephesians chapter 5 from verse 22. I don't know if it is by deliberate consensus or if it is error of judgment that has gone for so long. We always jump verse 21. We begin from 22. Wives, submit unto your husband as church unto Christ. Now, there is a verse 21 in that passage. Now, verse 21 is talked about mutual submission. Submit yourself one unto another. So, mutual submission is that there will be times that although God has put me in charge as the head of this home, the head under God, there will be times that it is the idea that the Holy Spirit has placed in the mind of my wife that we run with. And I'm not going to run reluctantly. I'm going to run as the head of the home under God, pursuing that idea, making sure that that idea flourishes. So there will be times that I'm just going to be asking her, what do you think we should do now? Not because I no longer have the wisdom of a man, not because I no longer have the endowment to lead my home, but because I know enough that I must still be teachable. I must still be accountable. I must still be able to submit unto her as well. And you know one thing, sometimes to also submit to our children. To submit to our children. I'll bring that down. Was it last month? Early this month, first week of this month, my son broke his glasses, the 8-year-old lad. So we needed to go fix it. When we were getting his glasses, we knew the lens was specialized lens and quite dear. So we got a spare frame. In case something happened to the frame, we transferred the lens. And as we feared, it happened. Boys will always be like that sometimes. So we needed to go change the frame, transfer the lens onto this new frame. And we were looking. My wife and I had looked, searched the house. But I just felt maybe we should just ask them. And this little lad just said, Daddy, I know where it is. Okay, where is it? And he gave me like step by step, go to your room, your desk, your workstation. Under the table, there is a bag, there is a glass case. This color one is a spare.
Exactly.
As he said, excellent.
That was it.
Now, my younger sister was around at the time. I thought she was like, oh, but that means what if you did not listen to him? I said I would have been struggling. I wouldn't have seen the frame. I would have had to go to the shop and pay for another frame, 130 euros. You know, in that moment, listening to him was what saved me. 130 euros. So, you know, in this kind of way, mutual submission is important. And men, especially, must master this, must be very deliberate about this. She's a professional as well. She's an adult. She's intelligent. I don't think any man will go and marry a silly woman, an unwise woman. You know, she's an adult. She's intelligent. So why does she then become reduced to nothing because she is married and because she's a woman? Come on. You know, and if you want to see men who do well in marriage, they are men who listen to their wives. They are men who listen to their wives.
Tell them.
Okay. They are men who take the advice of their wives on board. All right. Mutual submission is key. Empathy is key. Empathy is key. If you don't have empathy, you can't do well in a home. You can't build a lasting home without empathy. Empathy is just key. Okay. Acceptance is important. You know, to accept this person as part of me, bone of my bone, not bone of contention. It's bone of my bone. When your spouse becomes the bone of contention, that is no longer working. You know, this is a part of me. This is me. And I'm not the madman of Gadara, who the Bible says was hurting himself.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to be hurting myself because I'm not the madman of Gadara. I am Lekon Agumbiade. And I know that whatever I do that hurts my wife, I am hurting myself. So acceptance. Like I said, this is the bone of my bone. This is not the bone of contention. I am not going to be competing with this woman. I am aiding this woman. I am giving this woman everything I can, a platform for her to rise and fly. I am not putting her under the bushel. And of course, the same way. All right? The same way. Now, another thing that makes, another principle, I will say crisis preparedness. You see, I by the grace of God and with all humility, I speak with a lot of marriages. And what I see is that people don't prepare for crisis. Perhaps because of where we come from. You know, people don't believe in life insurance in Africa. If you do life insurance, they show very kuni. Like, why you do life insurance? People don't believe in fact, the car insurance we do is just to get the license. I don't know what it is now, but many years back, that's what it is. Not like you have a crash. Pardon?
No. I said you're right.
Yeah. Not like when you have a crash, you rely on that insurance to fix your situation. It's just to get the license, okay? And that also affects our marriages. A lot of marriages are on the road without insurance. No insurance. Now, when you don't have insurance, you don't have crisis preparedness, you don't have folks that you have mutually agreed to be talking to if there is crisis. You don't have people that you have on. Now, we come together, my wife and I, we know that we will not always get it right. Sometimes it may be beyond us to work it out. So we may need somebody to like realign us sometimes. And realigning us will mean that person, you know, we both agree to that person being our place of alignment. Might be a family, might be a couple, might be one person, might be a few people. Right? Myself, a church boy, I have many people, both friends and mentors and pastors, and you know. Now, it is important to have that agreement. If we have issue, do you agree that we talk to this person? Because if issues come, and I then go to discuss with the person we have not agreed with, you know, there will not be confidence in that person, in my wife, in that person. There may not be. Maybe the best of your friend, you know, and what do you expect? So before you know it, that person actually might be intervening in a good way, but my wife may not take advantage of that, may not believe in it. Now, on another note, not having that kind of preparation in place will also mean that a lot of things that can be fixed easily are not fixed, and the marriages break. And since COVID, we now know that people can have issues. It is okay to not be okay. And when you are not okay, seek help. And seeking help in marriage can just mean dissolution sometimes. And of course, we must be very careful who we talk to. We must be very careful that the person is not going to be a crisis entrepreneur. The person is going to be watching out for the good of our home. Crisis entrepreneur will take vested interest in one party and begin to fuel that party against the other. That is not what God intends. God intends that we make it work for the people, not to rip them apart. What other principle would I say? That I've mentioned forgiveness. Another principle that I will say actually is to be humble. To be humble.
Humility.
Humility goes into mutual submission a lot, but maybe it's also important to call it out on its own, to be humble. To be humble means that regardless of the number of years between the man and the woman, you are one now. You have become age mates. Did that, bros. We are egbe now, you know, like to be humble. In that humility, you know that you don't know everything. You know, even what you think you know, you might actually not know it, you know. So sometimes don't just be so sure that you are sure. Still be humble enough to be teachable. Yeah, I'll leave it at that for now.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And I actually liked where you started about respect, because when I looked at all the points that you mentioned, I could see that without the respect, I don't think every other thing there could work. And respect goes beyond, oh, auntie, whatever. There's so many things that I can do to my spouse, you know, that I cannot do just because, you know, I respect this person. Thank you so much for those points. And, you know, we've talked so much.
I remember two things. Forgive me. I remember two things.
Okay.
Number one, you also need to take stock. In taking stock, you know, it is important to learn from history. Why did the parents of my marriage not work out as it should have? What part of me do I bring into this marriage that can make this marriage not to work? Taking stock of those things will help me to be transparent to that person. I am like this, I need help this way. It's very, very important. Before banks merge, you tell everything. So when two people come in if you have not taken stock, how shall you disclose? You can't disclose what you don't know. So it's important to take stock. Take stock of your parents' marriage, of patterns in your family, or patterns in your own life. Why did the previous relationships not work before this one is working? You know, take stock and then open up. So when the Bible was talking in Genesis, both of them being together are not ashamed. You know, that nakedness goes beyond physical nakedness. You know, openness, transparently. And then maybe number 3 that I also want to add is for a marriage to work, prayer is important as well, honestly. Having said everything, prayer is very important. But I am trying not to be so religious, and I mean this in very carefully, because I know we come from the place where people put prayer above everything. Like Ọlọ́run ló máa ṣe, Ọlọ́run ló máa. You have to do all of these things.
Your own part, yeah. Thank you so much. I wanted to go to the next question. There's the next one, but I actually want us to answer a question here. I think this person's question was because you mentioned about having someone that, you know, we can speak to, like we are both agreed to speak to. So the person's question said that, don't you think third party interference in marriage at times is not advisable when couples have issues?
Thank you. That is true at times. I like that. That in that at times lies my approach. So there'll be times that it's just left me to just know that Titi would have been hurt with that way I spoke. And I just go to her, oh, sorry, dear, I didn't mean it this way. I am sorry for the way I sounded. I shouldn't have been like that. That might be it. Right? On another case, it might be sometimes I go on my knees. So I didn't expect this was going to happen this way. And I know that I really failed in this way. You know, I am sorry. Sometimes that might be it. I'm trying to look for extremes,
scenarios.
But from other marriages, I can recall extremes, right? In cases that feature extremes, you need somebody to intervene.
Yeah, I know.
But if it is something you both can talk about, oh come on,
why not? Why not? Why not?
Talk it over and get on. But if it's something that has lingered or something that you have spoken about, you have prayed about, and hasn't worked, it is better to let somebody come into the picture. But like somebody that is not conflict entrepreneur, somebody who is coming to help, and somebody that you both would have agreed to beforehand. Exactly. And if you have not agreed to beforehand, a friend of mine said, we never discussed these things beforehand. We never agreed on anyone beforehand. What do you think I should do? Then I said, tell your wife, are you happy if I discuss this matter with Lekon? Would you be happy for us to talk to him? In another case, it was beyond me. I had met with the family, and I have to say to them, this matter is beyond me. Do you both agree that I talk to this person who you both know and who I know will be able to go further with us than I would do? And of course, they had to go back a week or two, then come back and say, we agreed that you talk to that person. So it's just important to have that agreement. Even in disagreement, you must still agree.
Yeah, thank you. And I think somebody also asked the question that, okay, that having a third party in which both of you agree, should it be a marriage counselor or just anyone in the family?
Not family. Not family. Sorry, maybe I should have said that earlier. Thank the Lord bless the person who raised this question. You see, if I take the matter of my wife to my mother,
I can imagine.
I won't get the best results. I won't get the best results. So, yeah, the Lord bless my mom. She's not like that. She would rather put the matter on me. Like, my wife is always right as far as she's concerned, which is okay for me. But in some other families, it's the son who is always right. And in that kind of situation, if you take your matter to your mom, it's not going to work well. If you take your matter to your brother-in-law, to your brothers, your siblings, they might side with you. Again, it's not going to work well. I'm unlucky that if my wife take anything to my siblings, she's always right. But it's not going to work well if you take to people who are from your own family. Now, if you also now take to your in-laws, it's not going to work well as well. You know why? Because they will want to play cultural game by agreeing with you. So it's always better to seek counsel outside your background families. Now, if God gives you people in your background families who are children of God and enlightened enough to not side one party, you will just know who that person is. You will just know. You understand now? For instance, I don't think any of my sister-in-law would have an issue with me, like, I go after their husbands. You get what I mean? I go after their husbands, who are my big brothers. So, but you will just know if you know that that person is like that, okay. But if not, don't take your marital issues to family members, please. This person don't have to be married counselors. Like I said earlier, the community raises a child, not just the parents. So, for instance, you might say you are not a marriage counselor, Bosede, but to the glory of God, the Lord has prospered your home for more than a decade. God is doing something in your home. Whichever way God has prospered your home for more than a decade, share the knowledge with folks around you. If there's a colleague in your place of work, if that person is looking for certified marriage counselor, that person will not be maximizing the benefit of God in your life and marriage. All right? If there's somebody in your church who you can actually impart their home and they are waiting for certified marriage counselor while you are there, and the things that is happening, the things that they need to fix are things that the Lord has brought you through. So it doesn't have to be marriage counselor actually. But the person must be people of like mind, not conflict entrepreneurs, not this not self-made marriage counselors as well, because we live in days now where people package themselves to be everything they want to be. So it's important to pray before going to that person. You don't want to go to somebody who is going to make your matter worse. You want to get help.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. We still have a long way to go. I don't know if Instagram will cut us off, but if it does, I would rejoin. But for the intentionality, so my next question to you would be that, you had mentioned before that, okay, to make a marriage work, these are two people that are, decided to commit to each other. So I want to ask that, whereby we have, a party that is actually doing all the intentionality, be it the man now or the woman, probably as a man, that, okay, I am the one that is actually pushing to make this thing work. And you feel like your spouse, you are not really at the same level. What can the other party do in this instance?
Thank you, Bosede. Communication. So what the person can do, bring this to the attention of the other person. I know you love me, and I'm sure I'm not deceiving myself. But look at this. Look at this. Communication. Communicate your observation that I see that you are laid back on this. I see that you are less passionate about this, and this is important to us working it out. Or am I correct that these observations are right? And if the person says, oh no, and sometimes it might just be to clarify. Sometimes the person might not be seeing an issue in what you see an issue with. So it's then to say, okay, this has been an issue for me. I have wanted you to be concerned about it, and it hasn't been like that. Please, can we do together on that? And sometimes it's also about patience. Patience, because the giftings of God upon our lives differ. The giftings of God upon our lives differ. My father was a total gentleman. A total gentleman. I mean, a man that his wife, my mom, would be the one to go to his own family to go and make case for him, to fight his cause. Right? So if you expect that kind of a man to contribute at the same degree, the same percentage as the wife, we might not get that. What is important is each party should bring their best. Each party, the best that God has endowed you with, bring it to this marriage to make it work. But if we observe that one party is not doing enough, we'll communicate. we communicate that observation, we clarify, why is this so? If you say, because I don't know what to do, because I don't know how to do this, oh, because I actually never know this was an issue anyway, that's the way I see it.
Yeah. And I think that's okay. Somebody said marriage requires patience. True. And I think you said the communication aspect of it. There is a question that I have here that, how can couples actually handle communication challenges? To me personally, I feel like somehow two people are not able to communicate because sometimes I used to say like, is it pride? Is it that I feel like, if I say this to you, you won't take it as how I would have expected you take it. But I know that a lot of things that has happened in marriages, it is communication. So how can I hope we'll still have a little time? Like how can couple actually undo communication challenges?
Thank you
In a healthy way, yes.
Thank you very much, Osede. I go back to respect, transparency. These two are key. Respect, transparency. Now, in my head, I am using transparency/openness. Okay? Now, communication challenges and differences. We are different temperaments. I talk about my marriage. When we got married, 90% of the talk in our home, I'll be the one talking. One day I was like, does this lady actually love me? If you love me, we talk together. Like, like I should not be ready as for my best. Like, talk to me, talk back to me. In African culture, a woman should not talk back. But me was looking for talk back to me, like talk to me. I want to hear too, So if you love that person, you communicate with them. In all of the things we're talking about, we're not putting love at the center because I started with something. Love will not always carry you through. Love is not always going to be enough. You need the brothers, the cousins, the sisters of love to walk around to make love itself work. So, you be transparent. Like, see, this is me. I don't talk as much as you do. Sometimes it takes me extra few seconds to come up with the words. I'm not as gifted as coming up with the words like wait and get passport as you are. So if it takes me a while to process my thoughts and to advance them, please allow me, and understand me. Now, you are bringing that to the front directly in advance. You are being transparent in that way. Now, the one who can talk till daybreak should also be respectful enough to also be, keep quiet, listen. And when you listen, don't listen to answer, listen to understand. There are a lot of flaws how we were raised. Our growing up was like long woman weary. We were, the intentionality that comes with active listening. My wife is talking, and I say I'm on the page. I am jotting. Say as I am jotting, I am here with you. Like I am only jotting just to track back so that I don't lose my thought. So by jotting, I am not listening, preparing my answers. I am listening, flowing along with a line of thought. When your pastor is preaching, you are jotting. All right? You are flowing along. You are trying to sink it in. And you are jotting so that in case you need to go back to it, to understand. So we should listen to understand. Listen attentively and patiently. And even when you think you have heard the person, before you flare back at them, before you answer back, it might be important to clarify. Did I hear you? Did I hear you correctly? Is that what you said? Did you say I am like this? Did you say you dislike me now? You know? And then who said I dislike you? I didn't say that. What were you hearing? Were you paying attention in the first place? I meant that I didn't like what you did. Do you get? So you had dislike. Your mind triggered. She did not dislike you. She disliked what you did. There are two different things. The person, the issue. All right? She still loves the person, but she didn't like what the person did. So it's important to clarify. Now, it's also important to approach issues rather than persons. You know, when I watch social media spaces from Nigerian people, I see how we attack people almost headlong, like the militant people wherever they are doing their nonsense. That militant mentality is in the mind of many people in our space. We attack. We go for the jugular of that person. No. Pick up the issue. When your nails are grown, you don't cut your fingers. You cut your nails. When I go to barb, I don't cut off my head. I barb. I shave the hair. When you want to shave your beard, you don't shave your skin. Right? So treat the issue, not the person. Take away the dross and make your marriage shine. Don't let the dross be painted over your marriage. Because if you begin to attack the person, you most likely will get counter-attack. And counter-attack gets counter-attack. And before you know it, jam pepper scatter. So it's just important. And sometimes don't answer right there and there. You know, mi ò ṣọmọ lọ́lé lọ gbèsè wá, kò lè pẹ́ nílé ọkọ, kò lè níyàwó. You know, a man who is not kì í ṣe ọmọ lọ́lé lọ gbèsè wá, is ọ̀rọ̀ ní gbèsè, the person will not be married for too long. There will be time that you just need to step back. You know, you may have to process that for a day and say, I'm not sure if I understood you. I had this. And I didn't mean it that way. Now, the person actually might say that, right? But instead of you attacking back, by the time you are sending back to the person might say, wow, I said that. I am sorry. I shouldn't have said that. You know, you have avoided fracas in your home.
Exactly.
You have avoided fracas. You are just saying it back to the person. You know, in my line of doctoral work, there's a lot of effort and training on listening. A lot of training on listening. Listening to the person. You know, checking what the person said. Trying to probe deep into the intention of the person before you conclude that is what the person has said. So a lot of times we just hear and we just go to conclusion. We go to Revelation without reading Genesis. That is not good. Now, also it's important to do peace conference. In peace conference, start your issues, start your tough communication with the positive ones. That person would have done some things good in the last 1 week or 1 month. Start from there.
I like that.
I like the way you are sacrificing a lot for us in this house. You know, you do this for us, you do this for us, you do this for us, you bleed for us, you mother us. Thank you. I like the way you have done this. I like the way you're always looking after me. But you see, I didn't like the way you gave me knock on the head in the front of my friends because I was not feeding well. You kind of tell the person that I am still yours, you are still mine, I still love you. And I don't see you as all bad. When we paint the picture that the person is all bad, that marriage can't do well. So start with the positive vibes. Put your matter in between. Put your matter in between as the middle of the sandwich. And of course, conclude with the positive vibes. And if possible, conclude reiterating that I love you. And I'm sure even now that we disagree, you love me. I know that. If you don't love me, you won't disagree with me. You know?
That's right. Yeah. Thank you. Wow. Honestly, it's been a wonderful conversation. And before I ask my other question, question here is, how do you handle a partner Who doesn't know how to apologize for wrongdoing and doesn't take to correction?
Problem méjì
I
nìyẹn.
know that's a big deal.
Two
That's
problems
really a
in one.
big deal. Mm.
Does not know how to apologize and is not teachable.
Mm. That's a lot.
Two problems actually. Now, the same thing we fix, one thing we fix both. That person needs humility. That spouse needs to be humble. By being humble, you know that you don't know everything, so you are teachable. You are open to correction. By being humble, you know that you can be wrong, and when you are wrong, you apologize. All right? And whoever is in that marriage should continue to bring it up, but bring it up with all humility and carefulness, so that the person doesn't feel like you are trying to say, I am arrogant, because it is arrogance, it is pride. All right? When I'm wrong, I am wrong. When I'm wrong, I'm wrong, and I should face it. I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said that. I shouldn't have acted like that. I'm sorry. When I'm wrong, I am wrong. It doesn't matter how old I am or how many years between us or whatever I have achieved. When I am wrong, I am wrong. So that spouse needs to be, the person asking this question should work with that partner, maybe discuss, watch movies, buy books, watch sermons that speaks about humility, and maybe even call the attention of that spouse into these things. My darling, I know you are the head of this home, or if it is the woman that is like this, my wife, I know you are my, you are the collar on my neck, and without collar, I am not a priest. And but you see, I observe this pattern. And I pray that we can work together on it. I'm not perfect as well in these matters, I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
And maybe, and if it is the way I am working that is making you to be like this, because if you also want somebody to be teachable and you are very arrogant with your teaching, the person will say, to hell with you and your teaching.
Right. Correct.
Do you get? So if you want to tell, if I want to tell my wife that she needs to be teachable, and I say that with a very baritone, bossy attitude, and I say, you don't lord it over me.
Sit down with your teaching. Yeah,
go away with your teaching. So one has to be wise to drill in that message in a way that the person understands that you are speaking from the place of love and not from the place of arrogance. Arrogance cannot be arrogance.
True. Thank you so much. I know we have spoken so much, principles and all of that. And even though this question that I'm about to ask it's like a question, it's a topic on its own, but just because we are here and we're discussing about marriage, I just want us to touch it a little bit. That okay, how can couples maintain emotional intimacy? Especially, there's work, there are kids, their life demands, their purposes, a lot of things are actually contending for that. I won't lie. If you understand, even sometimes myself, I'm like, hey, when you're actually preparing for the year, like I have my goals for the year, I always just write it. Okay, as I'm planning growth in this, I need to plan, because if you don't also plan for that aspect, you just be like everybody. We're taking care of children. I'm working. You're working. So how do we really maintain this emotional intimacy? Just that we don't just lose out on each other.
Thank you very much. Before I go to this question, permit me to add two things to the communication aspect in conflicts. It is important that we make decisions on what will never happen. I'll never disagree with you to the point that I raise my hand on you.
Right.
It's important.
Yeah.
I'll never disagree with you to the point that I call you vulgar words. I'll never disagree with you to the point that I begin to send you home All right. And you know, when they say send home in our parlance, it's like use your dad to insult you, use your mom to insult you, you know, be yeah no ni, and they say be young. I'll never disagree with you to the point of using your parents' failures, you know, to slander you. It's just important to just know we will never get this far.
This point.
We'll never get to this point. Now, it's also important to take turns in listening. To take turns. I know I spoke about listening extensively, but like before I actually come after you, I'm like, can I talk now? Are you finished speaking? Right? Because if we begin to talk back and forth, we are not going to communicate and matters will degenerate. So take turns. It's also important. The 3 magic words that we teach children, that we were taught as early lads, it still applies to adults. And honestly, I still feel that how did people outgrow that? To say please is still important. To say sorry is still important. And to say thank you is still important. It's not only for children, it's for us. In fact, it's even more for adults than for children. All right? And whoever wants to stay well in marriage must master these 3. And of course, one line that runs through them is also humility. It's humility. Having said that, I like to go to how couples can stay together and nurse their union, build intimacy. Bosede, we grow up to the point that we forget to grow. And at the point at which we stop growing, our marriage will no longer work. Our marriage will no longer work. So, how did you get together in the first place? How did you fall in love in the first place? What built your love in the first place? Is it not the time you had together? The intimate time you had together? The fun you shared? Is that not what built your love in the first place? That was how you grew it. You went out on a date. One date became 2 dates, became 3 dates, became multiple dates, became till death do us part. And then because we are now in till death do us part, we forget the dating.
Exactly.
We forget the dating. Because we are now in till death do us part, we forget the things that bonded us together in the first place. How you went to see movies together. How you went to the cinema. You know, how you gisted and gisted and gisted. You forget that. You forget how you spend relaxing time together, how you went to gardens and enjoy quality time, quality moments. Is it because you are married and you think there's no need for those things? If you don't pick up those things and continue those things, you become like a garden that is no longer watered. When a garden is no longer watered, that garden will stop bringing up fruits at some point. So watering in this case is the same way we started. I always tell my wife, I don't want to outgrow how we started. I don't want to outgrow the days we play games together. I don't want to outgrow us watching movies together. I don't want to outgrow us always gisting. I don't want us to outgrow us praying together. I don't want us to outgrow us having each other's back at all times. Right? I don't want to become independent, that I can then lead some friendship, lead some career pursuits all by myself without waiting on your agreement. Right? I don't want to go into business ventures that we are not doing together. I don't want to be in friendships that we don't both agree to. And I want quality time above everything. Because in quality time, I have you, you have me. In quality time, we are still boyfriend and girlfriend.
Yes.
You know, boyfriend and girlfriend spend better times than many people in marriages. So if becoming your husband will make me stop spending quality time with you, I'm not your husband.
Let
I'm
me
your
be
boyfriend.
right side.
Although we are married, but I see
Yeah.
myself there as your boyfriend. You know,
Mm.
and of course, take holidays. And when I say holidays, I don't mean going to New York or Paris. I mean take holidays.
Yeah.
One holiday can be in your living room. Take holidays, spend time together. You know, all of the things we pursue and pursue and pursue. It is well with our pursuits. Any pursuit that make me grow apart from my wife is not godly pursuit for me, right? That's the way I see it. Any
Yeah, I
pursuit
get
that
it.
makes me grow apart from my wife, for me, for my destiny, is no longer godly pursuit.
Mm.
The godly pursuit in my life
Wow.
must align me with my partner, with
Wow.
my spouse.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
just on a cheeky note around that, my wife is not a nurse. I'm a nurse. My PhD focus is for nursing and methodology that does not relate to my wife's career at all. But my wife knows that methodology and that approach to research enough that we went together to a conference in June. People using that methodology could not stand a level of expertise on that methodology because when I
Wow.
am reading, I'm always talking to her about it.
Yeah. Wow.
She
Wow.
hasn't picked up a textbook to read anything on that methodology, but she doesn't need to do because I am here. Because I am here. All right. And of course, the things
Yeah.
that relate to our work, I should be
You
able
also
to
know.
engage a lot of people in our office and not fall short.
Mm.
Like, know the people
Mm.
she works with, all of them by their names. You know the people she
Wow.
works with, their specialty, their level, their grade. Like, just grow together. So we're in two different disciplines, but the two different disciplines, regardless, we make it an opportunity. Our discipline becomes my second discipline. My discipline becomes our second discipline, so to speak. It
Wow.
bonds us.
Wow.
Always just keep talking, keep talking, keep talking.
Mm.
Yeah, eat
Wow.
together.
I mean,
Uh,
it's
and of course, bedroom
honestly,
and square. The other room,
yeah. Hmm.
the other room must be vibrant. If the other room is not vibrant, it won't be local longer.
There's problem.
There's
Wow.
problem.
That was why I said that this one that I touched, I know that it's broad. It's a topic
Mm.
on its own, and I know that definitely I'm going to bring you back. We're still going to talk more about
No
it.
problem.
I know marriage discussion, like I mentioned earlier, it's a lot.
Yeah,
It's a lot. It's so technical, but the thing is, we have to keep talking about it. We have to keep talking about it. And from what you said, especially on the aspect of your wife, know what you do, you know our colleagues at work and all of that. Do you know that it all goes back to the intentionality that we're talking about? It
absolutely.
all goes back to that.
Absolutely.
If I am not intentional about my spouse, that means there's nothing. There's really
Mm.
nothing there. I have to be intentional about the person, and the person also has to be intentional about the other party. It goes both ways. But when a party, starts to withdraw their intentionality, then there's a problem. Thank you so much, Lekon. And I know, I mean, this is the first time that ever since I started, this is the first time that I would end by exactly 9 o'clock. This is almost 9:30, and we're still here. We're still discussing. Thank you so much for your time. I am so grateful. I know that
You're
you're a
very
busy person, but even at that, you still chose to show up. Thank you. And thank you for everyone for coming. But before you go, the last thing, what is that one piece of advice you want to give my audience or the people that are going to watch later, who wants their love to last? Just one piece of
mm.
advice.
Can I make it two pieces of advice?
Oh, no problem. It's fine. It's
uh,
fine.
I'll say number one, is don't let social media ruin you. Social media is ruining many homes. Don't let social media ruin you. Don't fall for the pressure that you see on social media. Don't fall for it. Don't fall for the packaging. Every testimonies have stories you don't know. Where people are today, you don't know where they started and what they've gone through. And there may be things they have done to get to where you are now that you can't do because you are a child of God. That they are children of God does not matter. You don't know how they do their own children of God. So you don't know their stories. You know, the good ones, the not so good ones. And maybe you don't know. So run your own race. Run your own race. Focus on your own home. Make the best of your home. If you have positive lessons to get from social media, take the positive lessons. The negative ones, don't fall for it. The pressure ones, don't fall for it. You can learn from people to improve yourself, but don't compare. All right? Don't compare. Because I see a lot of homes have that issue. There's a lot of pressures on social media. Please don't fall for it. If you have a very rugged car, live happily with it. Don't go and buy Jeep because your next door neighbor, who is not as old as you, has an SUV. You don't know if that SUV is a gift. Somebody might have gifted them. Don't fall for it. My second piece would be what the Bible says in honor, preferring one another. It is just key. In honor, preferring one another. When you do that well, that your wife or husband knows that that is the pattern, the principle you have lived in your marriage, you know, it gives this level of confidence to make the marriage work. I know that what this person is saying is not just because he needs to feel like the head of the family. It has to be for my good. What this woman is saying is not because she wants to be a bossy wife. It's because she loves me. It's because this is good for me. You know, it's just key. In honor, preferring one another. When people begin to watch out for their own self-interest, selfishness will break any marriage, and quite easily. Thank you.
Wow. Can you hear my clapping? Thank you so much, Leko. Thank you so much.